like a fine wine aged to perfection until the bottle shatters against the rocks of history. Two ancient warriors of radio broadcasting take to the airwaves of Madison for anyone brave enough to listen to the unvarnished truth, or something like that. It's John and Gordy in the morning on 92.7 WMDX.
WMDX, John and Gordy in the morning. It's a tariff-free show this morning.
It is.
Thank God a judge ruled that the Trump tariffs are illegal, and he's not able to do those things.
I think there were 3 judges involved in this.
So
trifecta.
So the tariff has been lifted on the John and Gordy show.
Thank goodness.
Finally, once and for all.
Good. No taxes
all right.
here.
Yeah. This is. I feel free.
Me too. Yeah. Good morning. Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
It's cloudy outside again. Kind of dreary out there. Yeah.
Now, wasn't it supposed to improve? Brittany told us it's more toward the weekend, right? Maybe Friday and Saturday, I suppose. Right?
Yes.
All right.
It's going to get better.
Sunset tonight is at 8:29. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. It's so important to let everybody know.
Thank God.
8:29.
Good.
Yeah.
What time was sunrise this morning? Is it already up there somewhere?
No, it's 5:22.
Okay.
That's when the sun rose. Now let me get to the weather forecast. Okay. The official WMDX weather watch.
Yes.
And that means that
what's
that means it's got to be believed here.
Sure. What is it? What's the afternoon high?
Face refreshed. Hold on.
Okay. When are you going to
52
how to run
degrees
that
currently? High of 70. I got to learn how to work this watch.
All right.
All right.
So you're saying a high of 70, or the Samsung WNDO,
the official
watch.
weather watch of the show.
Good.
I'm waiting
7.
for a check from them soon.
Yeah, I'll keep waiting.
Yeah.
Well, let's check the bar dice. We have the
bar dice is a good thing to check.
Let's see. Can we do the bar dice there?
All right, there we go. Ooh, that's nice.
Oh, well, there's a 6 and a 7. Didn't know there was. Could do a 7, but 6 and a 7. So I guess 67 or 76.
Have you ever played like a role-playing game, Gordy, where they've got all of these different number-sided die, like dice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of a regular D6, a 6-sided die, you've got like 8-sided or 10-sided or 20-sided dice.
I've seen those,
maybe.
But I've never.
Is that what we got in the?
You know what? Maybe
what are you asking me for? You came up with the bar dice.
Dom was the one who rolled them today.
That's right. We have role playing dice. Okay, there we go. Officially.
Okay. A little bit later on, we'll be talking to Jim Santelle, our attorney at law.
Yes, we will.
We've got some legal things we need to straighten out with him.
Boy, do we. Just ruling the fact that these tariffs were all illegal, almost all of them.
Right.
Yeah. Individual ones like on vehicles or whatever.
But of course,
those are in place.
The Trump administration's already saying they're appealing all of this.
Of course they are.
They've already put that out.
Yeah.
So that means they're not going to change anything.
Well, what else would a dictator say?
Of course. Yeah.
Not
so
giving
that's
up his
happening.
power. I know.
And we were going to talk to Tim Slekar, but he's got
moving. He's pretty busy. It's a tough time for him to.
He bought a new house.
He feels bad about having inspired me to go on to pursue a career in teaching. He can't show his face around here anymore.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Are you guilt tripping him now that you joined the teaching profession?
I am not doing anything in particular, Gordy. I don't know what he's feeling.
Okay.
But we do have a lot of the stories we were going to cover with Tim Slekar, and we'll be talking about those educational stories, not from educators.
Okay. All right. Well, good. We'll get to that in a little while. Are we ready to check the calendar and the
we never check
don't
the
really
calendar
want to check
anymore,
the calendar.
but what are we missing? Though,
Well, I can't tell you because I don't have it dialed up here yet. But we do have birthdays and what happened on this day in history. I think.
Gordy, was this all a ploy just to get rid of the Jeopardy theme and the guessing game that we used to play?
Yes.
Did you get sick of hearing that?
Yep.
Every single day.
Well, I got tired of it just from the game itself on TV. Yeah.
My parents are like the biggest fans of Jeopardy. I don't know what is up with them.
Yeah, I
watch
don't
it
know.
Almost every day.
I don't know.
I watch it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
I was going to say
It's very challenging.
It's a sign of senility.
My grandparents' favorite game show was Wheel of Fortune. That's what they did to pass the time in retirement.
You know,
you're too young to remember Concentration.
Yeah,
remember that game?
Yeah.
That was a very odd game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
All you got were pieces of a puzzle on a game show or on a board, and they had to try to figure out what the phrase was that the puzzle was indicating. It was really mind-blowing game and really difficult.
What was the devil one? Wasn't there
I don't remember.
some kind of evil game show?
Are you talking Press Your Luck? The
No.
Wendy's?
No. But I thought it was going to be kind of fun having the game show channel.
Yeah.
Do they have that anymore? The game show channel?
I think they have that. Yeah. I haven't seen
they?
it, though, lately.
Yeah, I haven't
Maybe they
seen
got
it
rid
either.
of it.
Sam's nodding his head yes.
They do?
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a thing.
Okay. Yeah, they have all those old games on
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay.
As long as they don't have Queen for a Day on there. Wow. That was the biggest mistake
It was
ever.
that was such a
But that was
bizarre
on
show.
for a long time.
Should go on YouTube and see if we can find
Yeah.
some Queen of the Day stuff. People come on and tell their sob stories and just
Three mothers,
contestants. Yeah.
three moms
Yeah.
telling how horrible their lives are and how bad things turned
How
out for them.
destitute they are.
And you were supposed to pick the one that you felt more sorry for. and the losers, of course, went on to have even a worse day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, your story was really sad, but
Yeah.
it wasn't sad enough.
Yeah.
So, here's $25 and bus ticket home. Yeah. That was it. But the winner would get a crown, and she got to walk around.
New kitchen.
Queen for the day.
Yeah.
Brand new kitchen with appliances and all that stuff. Yeah. It was quite a concept. Okay, well, what are we doing here? So if we were going to do the National Day
if
calendar,
we wanted to do it, yes. What
we would
have?
know that it was National Paperclip Day.
Oh.
That's the big standout day
We
today.
finally got paper clips in the studio here.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah. Chris from Janesville is texting us this morning. You couldn't call us or text us, 608-879-8255, or do it the easy way on the Civic Media app. The devil was on a card game. They would spin the reel. It has 3 cards.
Okay.
What was that?
Yeah,
Which game was that? The devil.
Oh, you're trying to come up with the name of that show.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Okay. Maybe we'll get some more information. So there's really nothing happening on the National Day calendar anyway. So let's, how would you pronounce this one?
You wouldn't know how to say that. That's
National Coq-au-vin Day? It's some sort of dish.
Coq-au-vin Day.
Going back to Paperclip Day, you ever hear the story about the guy who he got a paperclip and he like traded it all the way up to like trading a house for like he traded this paperclip for a series of like successively like better trades. Like he traded it for I don't know, a piece of string and then a stapler and then whatever, on and up.
Kept trading up.
Yeah, until he traded it for a house. Have you ever heard about this
guy?
I don't believe that.
No, that sounds good.
There's a Wikipedia page for it. Dom just pulled it up. One Red Paperclip is a website created by Canadian blogger Kyle McDonald, who traded his way from a single red paperclip to a house in a series of 14 online trades.
That's incredible.
Why don't I do that?
Why don't you do that?
I'm looking for a place to live. Within
You're
a
a
year,
wheeler
I could get
dealer?
a house just like Kyle McDonald.
Okay.
Yeah, it started off with paperclip, and then went to a doorknob, and then went to a camp stove, and then a Honda generator.
Sounds like the stuff that Sam collects.
Okay, where'd it go from there?
Yeah.
Go up the line.
Okay, and then after that, it was a Budweiser sign. it looks like. And then a Ski-Doo snowmobile.
Oh,
Ooh.
see there, that was a
Wow.
big jump.
And then a box truck.
Wow.
And then it just keeps going.
A recording contract.
A recording contract. Motorized snow globe. I mean, there's so much stuff
What
here.
in the
A motorized snow globe.
I don't even know what that means, but
Must have been collectible.
Well, that's one of those
Automatically
Oh,
globes
yeah.
that- okay.
spins the snow in the snow globe.
Wow.
Sounds very Midwestern,
very.
doesn't it?
It does.
The first
I mean, a
trade there,
Ski-Doo,
though,
I
to
mean-
trade a paperclip for a doorknob, that
Yeah,
was,
that's,
that was the first step up.
Big trade up. You knew you were.
What do you get
knew,
for a
You
doorknob?
knew you were onto something.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
anything happened on this date in history since really
Yeah.
nothing happening in
Yeah,
the
is there anything going
National
on?
Day of Calendar?
There was actually.
Either of you have anything?
Yeah. Did you know 1848,
Yeah.
Wisconsin becomes the 30th state in the U.S.?
That's not a big deal.
Not
Okay,
really.
let's move on.
All right.
30th. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Wisconsin's
Yeah.
old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 1919, Charles Strite files a patent for an automatic pop-up toaster. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
I need one of those for my apartment.
You don't have a
Either
toaster?
of you ever?
I don't have a toaster.
They're not
Oh, it's
really
an essential.
expensive,
You got. I should get one for you as a housewarming gift or something.
but- yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Well, that's
did you ever
pretty
use
nice.
one of those like antique toasters where like you'd lean the bread
Yes.
against a like a stove burner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catches your house on fire.
Exactly.
Well,
This looked very dangerous.
don't they have? Well, there's one side that folds up, right? It folds
Yeah,
the bread
I
onto
suppose
the
you're right, you're
heating
right.
element. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those are kind of crazy, aren't they? But I just want to mention, Wisconsin becoming the 30th state back in 1848, 1849, they banned abortion,
Is that right?
and the Republicans want to stick with that before women had the right to vote. Sweet.
Okay. Thank you for
All right,
pointing
just-
that out. Okay.
well, okay. Who am I?
Anything else
I'll just
on-
sit back here.
You're fine. It's all good. Anything else there, Dom? Hello.
The World War II Memorial is dedicated. Sorry, I still need to.
I thought you dozed off for a second there. Okay.
The World War II Memorial is dedicated in Washington, D.C. in 2004. So that was
2004.
yeah.
Huh.
Pretty late.
Why
Yeah,
did that
it's
take
pretty-
so long?
I don't know.
Okay.
In
Birthdays?
2025,
Yeah.
Trump took over the World War II Memorial.
Yeah. Put his big
Now,
face
Chairman.
on it. Yeah.
And then, so you're talking about birthdays. 1972, Laverne Cox. Don't know if I'm saying that right.
Don't know who that
Laverne.
is.
Laverne, that's what it is. Laverne Cox. And then
Don't,
1961.
I don't know who that. Who is that? Anybody?
She's a songwriter. She's a prominent
Oh,
African American songwriter.
okay.
And then in 1961, we got Melissa Etheridge.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
And then in 1917, John F. Kennedy was born.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
There we go.
Good lineup of birthdays.
There we
Okay.
go.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see.
What?
Our birthdays are coming up pretty soon.
They are. Yeah.
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 Won't be too long. Till,
July.
yep. Okay. Well,
Well, no one's going to care. Oh, here it is.
what?
Joker's Wild.
Oh, the Joker's Wild 70s game show. Yeah, that was the one with the devil on it every once in a
Yeah.
while. The devil would
That-
pop up
that's
and
what I was
lose all
thinking
your
of.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
game show with the devil on it.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought?
All right. Coming up, we will get into some education talk and some news. And in our
Yes,
next
we will.
hour, Jim Santelle, attorney at law, will join us. It's all coming up on John and Gordy in the morning for a Thursday. Glad you're with us. Stay right there.
A big, beautiful bill. Man, they are so proud of that name. They can't stop saying it on social media. They officially gave the bill that name, and I get it. I'm a huge fan of alliteration myself. I think the repeated B's give it a certain je ne sais quoi. But if we're going to be repeating B's, I actually think we could have gone even further with it and been more descriptive as to what this bill really is. I would have gone with something like a budgetary boon for billionaires, or a brutal butchering of benefits for the bottom bracket. Or maybe a blight on the biosphere for our barren buddies' bottom lines. I guess I'm just bedeviled by this blunderbuss of a budget bill, which bears the blatant branding of all the back-scratching backdoor billionaire buy-ins that broker tax breaks for big business while ballooning the budget, blowing up bipartisan breakthroughs, and bankrupting the already broke. But hey, you can bet your bottom Bitcoin there'll be a backlash back home for all these billionaire bootlickers, so buckle in, bitches.
There you go.
Bootlickers.
Big bed bill.
Was that a?
That was just
web.
It was
wisdom?
a web wisdom, yes.
I love that
Just
stuff.
a random thing from the internet.
Yeah, isn't that right?
Yeah.
WMDX 92.7. This is John and Gordy in the morning.
It is 6:23. It's cloudy. It's kind of cool. 49 degrees. Highs close to 70 today.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll see a little bit of sunshine along the way. Checking with Brittany Merlot in a little while.
Boy, some crazy stuff. We're going to take a look at the headlines in this particular part of the show.
Right.
And there's a real big one, and it's amazing because the person who heads up the department is a female, and she's going after female businesses or, minority businesses.
Well, who
in this case?
Which department are we talking about?
We're talking about the Justice Department.
Okay. Pam Bondi?
Pam Bondi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
I really cannot. I cannot take Pam Bondi at all. I mean, she is such a sycophant that it's just hard for me to look at a person like this in charge of anything.
That's why she got hired.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the Justice Department has decided to reevaluate its position on the Transportation Department's program that has carved out an estimated $37 billion for minority and women-owned businesses. They say it violates the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. Man, we've been doing this for a long time. Maybe the Supreme Court justices who are now making decisions based on history, let's go back in history and see if this is a well-accepted norm now. Maybe that is one way to protect these small businesses and women-owned businesses.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, that's I'm just trying to help.
Well, Pam Bondi needs all the help she can
Now
get.
she is going to go out and destroy women-owned businesses, or at least the proliferation of women-owned businesses. In a settlement that they want to put in place is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program will be prohibited from awarding contracts based on race and sex, effectively ending its founding mission. So anything is horrible and just really unconstitutional as the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program.
Wow.
I'm sure, I'm really glad they're on top of this, and they're certainly protecting all of us white people, to make sure that, that money doesn't go to other people. Right, it should only go. I mean, the problem with the ending DEI is it essentially takes the money that we were helping everybody with.
Right.
This is just a program. This is just a percentage. $37 billion was put aside to help these businesses out. There's a whole other side that are helping other businesses, white businesses, big corporations.
Yeah, small business administration. The list goes on and on.
There you go.
I mean, the thing that gets me with all of those kind of deals is they're helping the They're helping the grassroots of the economy. It's going right back into the economy.
Right.
That money is going to build businesses, build jobs. The whole bit. But no, let's just cut that stuff out.
Isn't that amazing?
We don't want to help anybody.
Incredibly short-sighted. Almost everything they're doing at this point, destroying all businesses and all possibilities of people starting their own businesses, all of that now is essentially being put aside.
Yeah, right out the window.
And all of this will, obviously affect us in maybe a year or 2 or 3.
Time to move business underground, John.
Oh, there you go. The underground economy.
Yeah.
Let's go for that.
Black market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now that they have Bitcoin, we can pay for that.
Okay. Yeah, we're all going to Bitcoin now, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be crypto. Everybody
Crypto.
get into it.
Yeah.
Going to support that. Now, did you hear this? Musk is out. He's out. That's it.
He's been out for about a month or so,
But he's made it official. His
Yeah.
time with the Trump administration has come to an end.
Boy.
And he doesn't like the big bad bill, by the
he
way.
does not.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
many. It's not cutting out
Doesn't
enough.
cut enough.
Yeah, that's why he's
Yeah,
leaving.
Mr.
Okay.
Nazi is leaving.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I think the rest of the cabinet kind of got sick of him, too. Getting all the spotlight, getting all the headlines. Maybe Trump is a little sick of him.
For some reason, it just seems really unfair that a billionaire, one of the richest people in the entire globe,
He
is
the
saying
richest
that
person.
we don't need any of the support, any of the help, spending money on the public. We don't need a civil society anymore. We just need everybody living out on their own and fessing for themselves and, repairing the road in front of their house or maybe filtering the water into their home so they don't have poisonous toxins. We're on our own. That's it.
Yeah, well, AI is going to take care of
Oh,
everything
yeah,
else.
AI is gonna
That's the solution.
It's going to think for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Why
we got
not?
an AI story kind of
Do
coming
we?
up. Yeah.
All right.
In the educational part of our show.
How are we doing
This
with
is-
that so far? Tim Slekar couldn't be here today, so we're
came
filling
out
in.
wrong.
Yeah,
We're really
Okay.
trying to educate you all the way through the show.
of course we are. That's what we do: educate and inform, and try to entertain
Thank you.
and inspire.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. 6:29, something like that. When we come back, Idiocracy, right here on John and Gordy in the Morning.
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point, a dumbing down, until humanity was incapable of solving even its most basic problems.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
We can duck and cover. There's a fallout shelter right there.
There's no way to survive this, you idiot!
Idiocracy.
For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
We're trying to sort through the idiocracy here. Give you the best of idiocracy. There's so much of it.
Yeah.
Every day we have more and more and more. It looks like it's getting darker.
What?
Out to the east there.
Yeah. Clouds are gathering
Rolling
overhead.
Yeah.
Right over our station. Hope that's not a bad sign. Who knows?
Yeah. Must not like the stories we've covered so far.
Okay. It's 6:36. It is cloudy.
Yeah.
Maybe some sunshine later, but not right now anyway. This portion of John and Gordy in the Morning brought to you by Madison Hearing Aid Center. You can check them out at madisonhearingaidcenter.com. They offer passion over profit. They're driven for a passion for helping people, not just selling hearing aids. They offer fast and flexible appointments, family-owned, and they are helping people change their lives with improving the quality of life through better hearing. Conveniently located at 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. Go to madisonhearingaidcenter.com. They offer a free hearing test right there on their website, and that'll get you started, and you can make an appointment. madisonhearingaidcenter.com. Jim and Sarah do a terrific job there.
They have quite a selection of hearing aids. They're very small now and high-tech, you know.
Yeah, they've got
Bluetooth, of course, and AI. So we're walking around. We're Android robots.
That's it. We are.
You've been assimilated into the Borg.
We are into the Borg.
Yeah, they should certainly make a hearing aid that looks like the Borg attachment to the side of your face.
Well, we'll have to ask Jim and Sarah about that. Maybe we can get a customized hearing aid
maybe
device.
one of the manufacturers makes something like that.
That'd be kind of cool.
The Borg hearing aid. All right.
If they haven't, we should latch onto that. The John and Gordy Borg hearing aid devices at a special discount.
Yes, latch
with
onto that idea.
Half of our faces on either side. Okay.
All right. And a big tip of the hat to Dee in Janesville. She said that Musk has planted his people. More to come, in my opinion, she says. And
well, that's the truth, isn't it?
But that is true. Yeah, a lot of these people with the Doge have actually been hired in each one of the departments now to keep track and make sure that everybody's doing the right thing. You know, I was thinking about this. I know this is crazy stuff, right? I mean, we're talking about fraud, right? And they always come up with the statistics for fraud. Right. And a lot of times they say, well, you know, fraud exists in this certain department by 28%. There's 28% fraud in this department. I'm thinking to myself, and yesterday I was thinking this, well, wait, how do we know it's 28%? How do we come up with that number?
Right.
It's not just fabricated, you know, well, I think it's 28%. No, they've actually discovered fraud.
Have they?
Yeah. So the whole point here, Doge is, of course, out there trying to discover fraud. So they come up with a statistic, not Doge, but, you know, the departments have their own statistics. They have their own auditors to find all the fraud. They say it's 28% or 10% or 4%. And that's because they've caught the fraud. They've taken care of it. It's no problem.
Yeah. They all have auditors, like you say, and solicitor generals. That's why they have those guys.
Exactly, and it kind of neutralizes any effect that Doge might have had.
Right.
There was really no reason for them. All they did was carry out Project 2025, and that is to completely take over the government and put all of the government departments under the purview of the president.
Right.
That's
under
it.
Trump.
That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. Disassemble the different government agencies and have Trump put in charge of all of it.
Yeah.
It's all his.
In fact, I've got a story in it coming up a little bit later on, and it is, what is it called? Oh, it's called the Fourth Pillar. We're going to get to that story next hour.
Fourth Pillar.
Yeah, the Fourth Pillar. That's what they called it. And I didn't know this. We covered Project 2025 extensively on this program.
Right.
And I didn't hear about the fourth pillar, but that is what is going on with Doge. They were part of the fourth pillar to get rid of all of the departments and put them under Trump.
Why is it the fourth pillar? Why isn't it
I don't know.
What are the other three pillars?
That's a good question.
Is that okay?
What
Well,
were you
no.
gonna say?
I was going to say, is it the executive is one pillar, and then the legislatures?
No,
are the
I
other
think
pillar?
they've neutralized
And
the
the other one-
legislature at this point, too.
The other one is the Justice Department, and then no, that
They've
has
absorbed
nothing
that,
to do
too.
it.
But anyway,
Why
they
would it
call
be a
the fourth
pillar anyway?
We'll get into it next hour. Maybe we'll find out.
You're just not an appreciator of architecture, Gordy. Pillars are very aesthetic, you know.
I'm more into the Frank Lloyd Wright architecture.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think he used pillars very much.
That's right. Yes, it's
Phased
part
out
of
the
Arches
pillar.
and curves and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's part of the architecture that Trump wants to put in all the federal buildings, right?
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
Mostly they're pillars. What is that architecture called? I'm phasing out right now.
Like Roman architecture? I don't know if that's the actual name for it.
Yeah.
Classical. That's it.
That's a classical, right? Yeah. The kind of stuff they had in the South.
Okay.
The pillars.
Right.
Wonderful. All right. Hey, how about I want to add something to something I talked about last hour, and that is Pam Bondi going after the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program that distributed money to minority businesses and women's businesses. And I mentioned kind of a reference that, just off the top of my head, but now it's actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This program was funded by the government, but administered by the states. And get this, according to this story, the federal government can earmark at least 10% of funds allocated for transportation infrastructure to women and minority-owned contract firms. So it's just a mere 10%. 90% goes to all the white businesses out there doing stuff for the transportation department, but they just earmarked 10% to go and help.
That's it.
That's all it is. It's not discrimination in any way, shape, or form. 10%? Come on.
All right.
And they're going to get rid of that now. This DEI thing is
It's out of control.
it's kind of a
Slashing,
it's kind of an
burning.
illegal way to put racism back in to the country. All right. Anyway, let's get into a little bit of education here from two uneducated people.
Filling it for Tim Slekar today.
Yeah, I wish I knew. What is it they say? What is their little slogan?
Educated educators talking education.
That's it.
Very good.
You guys are both college dropouts technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You guys are the perfect ones to talk about education.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
And you're
Anyway,
about to become an educator.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's your
take
last day.
it'll
We should
take a
point
little
out
bit, but,
tomorrow's your last day.
That's right. Yes.
Episode number 400 of the John and Gordy Show.
Thereabouts.
Sam
yeah.
leaves the John and Gordy Show.
What do you mean thereabouts? You said it was going to be episode 400, right?
Well, we've had so many shows that we like compiled or prepared stuff in advance.
It all
for.
counts. It all counts.
Yeah, so the count is right around 400. I may have
Right around.
Oh, God.
You try counting to 400 over the course of a year and a half, Gordy.
Look at how he's turning on us now. Last day.
There's a
Got
reason
one
that-
foot out the
hey,
door.
There's a reason I'm not becoming a math teacher, right?
Okay. Okay.
Well, you were so matter of fact about the number. Now I'm disappointed. I think it's about 400. Well, you know what? I'll take that.
I'll take it
That's
too.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
What do you want to have happen tomorrow on your last day?
Well,
Where do
I don't
you
know.
want to sit back and let Dom run the show? Just relax, or do you want to, you want to have some breakfast here?
I'm going to put my, I was joking in the break right beforehand. I was going to bring in a hot plate and like fry up some pancakes. Instead of us going to Short Stack, I'll bring Short Stack to us, right?
Oh, well, why not?
And I also thought about bringing this back quite a while ago. It was after the WBAs last year.
Right.
Because I gave you guys a couple of congratulations gifts. You Gordy, gave me an 8-track player that a half-broken 8-track player you
Right.
found at an antique store.
Yes.
I just came across another one. I thought I could give it back to you as a sort of white elephant gift.
Oh, that's great.
Now you didn't tell the rest of the story. You actually ended up giving that 8-track
Yeah, I
player to
fixed
somebody
it up,
else.
but I didn't have any 8 tracks to play.
He
and
regifted
it. Was just
it.
sitting around, so I dropped it off at Goodwill one day.
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, it's back there.
And then
again.
after the show, we're all going to go out and get snot slinging drunk, right?
Oh boy.
Is that the plan?
Well, that sounds like a great. You know,
Okay.
I think only on one occasion have I ever day drunk, and that sounds like a great
Well.
great way to end the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what.
No, that's not going to happen.
No?
No, I can't handle it.
Okay.
But go ahead, you know.
All right.
Tear the town apart, man.
Okay.
Okay, Doug in St. Francis has contributed a little bit here to the show, a little bit, and I'm emphasized a little. College dropouts in radio. Now there's a story.
Oh, so true. Hey, let's go to the phone lines. They're open right now if you want to get in on the action
I've got
here.
this big story here.
Well-
Okay, Mark, go ahead. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, with your discussion about how Doge is going after fraud, it sure seems kind of ironic with Trump pardoning all these fraudsters. What the one guy that didn't submit like $44 million of his employees' taxes to the federal government, and now the Chrisleys with their massive frauds too, and apparently those people are going to have to pay restitution for the crimes they committed. You know that. And for the people, not for the people that that medical guy didn't submit that with the doctors and nurses and people working for him.
Yeah.
I mean that he's not only defrauded them, but he defrauded the American taxpayers. But Trump is saying, "Oh, that's okay." He gets $1 million from the guy's mommy, and that guy gets away with not having to, reimburse the taxpayers. And
right.
So what happens to the money those people thought they were kicking in for their Social Security and Medicare, and that money just evaporated? Do those accounts get credited for that, or are they SOL?
Well, this is all because Biden weaponized the Justice Department, as you might remember. And this is all based on that.
Trump,
This is all based on that. These are all people that supported Trump that got these pardons.
Funny how that works.
I have an entire list here I was going to read, and I'm glad, Mark, you brought this up because, the pardon of Scott Jenkins, the former sheriff who was convicted of accepting more than $75,000 in bribes in exchange for appointing individuals as auxiliary deputies. And that means that they, can get through lines easier and faster and say, I'm a deputy, I'm here to investigate, and they can get right in, all that kind of stuff. And well, that's good. That's
good for them.
That's good for Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Mark, thanks for that call.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it. 608-879-8255. 608-879-TALK, or get a hold of us on the Civic Media app.
Party
Okay.
at Gordy's gazebo.
Oh, that's according to my neighbors.
Yeah.
A party for Sam at the gazebo. We could do that. Go over there after the show. Why not?
All right, now here's
Just
something.
got a minute left here.
Just a minute? He pardoned Paul Walczak, a former nursing home executive convicted of misappropriating about $10 billion in employment taxes for personal luxury spending.
Wow.
I can see why
the
he
list
got a
goes
pardon.
on and on and on. We'll get to more of that coming up on John and Gordy in the morning.
Hail, hail, rock and roll, deliver me from the days of old. Long live rock and roll, the beat of the drums loud and bold.
WMDX 92.7, John and Gordy in the morning.
It is 6:52. It's cloudy to start things out. We'll see a little bit of sunshine along the way. Currently 49 degrees, highs close to 70. This portion of John and Gordy in the morning brought to you by Verlo Mattress, where you can wake up and sleep better on a Verlo mattress. A lot has changed since 1958. Some things have remained constant, though, throughout Verlo's history. They're still direct-to-consumer and providing superior products at unbeatable prices. Verlo Mattress, 2 Madison locations, East and West, and Verlo.com. John, I want to remind everybody that they can get the newsletter right from WMDX Radio. You go to WMDXradio.com. Comes out every Thursday, so if you would like to find out what's going on behind the scenes here and around town, get the WMDX newsletter. Go to our website, WMDXradio.com.
All right, that sounds fantastic.
You've had your eyes glued to the TV almost this whole time, John. What are you looking at?
What
are you looking at?
I was looking at an avalanche in the Swiss Alps.
Oh, I heard about that.
Wiped out a town.
Buried an entire
buried
town.
a town in a valley.
Yeah. The surprising thing is, one person is missing.
One.
Not a lot of people in that town.
Not a big population there, but
no.
Still.
Apparently not.
I didn't see pictures of it, but I heard, because it's the Swiss Alps, they have cattle there. I heard that they airlifted the cows out of there because they evacuated everybody. They knew
maybe
this
that
was
was
probably
why.
going to happen.
Yeah.
I wonder where that one guy is. The town was pretty small. So if they evacuated everybody beforehand, where'd he go?
Yeah.
There was there was roughly about 300 residents, too. So
really?
only one missing?
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Except for that guy.
Yeah.
It sucks for that guy.
The other big story that we could have probably mentioned tomorrow. Anyway, we're going to mention it today, and that is Trump canceled the contract with Moderna, who was developing a vaccine for the bird flu, which would help a lot of farmers. I mean, they could certainly inoculate their cattle.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be hard to do with chickens. But, that would be a job I would not want to have, vaccinating each and every chicken. Anyway, they do have a bird flu vaccine in development, Moderna, and they're going to continue that research.
Are they?
Yeah, because they had some very successful preliminary results, and they think that they're onto this. And what a time for the Trump administration to withdraw funding.
Just pull the rug out from under him?
I don't know. It's whatever he feels like doing at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
You see that the CDC, courtesy of RFK, has now rescinded their recommendation for pregnant women and I think children. I forget what the second group
children,
is
I think.
for getting the COVID vaccine.
Right. Yeah.
Yesterday I was at the doctor. I got 2 vaccines actually. One was a COVID booster. The other one was tetanus because it's been 13 years since I had one last. But my arm is mighty sore. But still good to get them.
At least you're protected now.
Well, yeah. It's funny because I think it was Newsmax or one of the alternative news stations had a big rant about how ridiculous it is to get a vaccine for tetanus. I'm thinking,
what?
No, that's not something you want to get.
Do they want lockjaw? Do they
remember
want
that?
to be able to not eat food?
Yeah, it affects your joints severely.
Yeah, you get froze up. You can't move that.
So it would be nice to get tetanus.
Everyone has
vaccines.
to experience it at some point, John, right?
Got to get that tetanus shot once every 10 years, whether you want it or not.
Now, Aaron Rupert is a reporter. He posts a lot on X, and he posted a poster picture that Trump posted, and he said normal stuff. And the poster basically is Trump walking down a darkened street with lights shining glossily off the streets, and it's Trump, and it's saying he's on a mission from God, and nothing can stop what is coming. That is a post from Trump.
Is it really?
Yes.
Are we sure about that, or is that
made up? No, he wouldn't have posted it if it was.
Okay.
No, this was an actual post from Trump.
Real.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We were going to talk about AI a little bit earlier, and I thought this was. I wanted to get Tim Slekar's point of view on this because he talks about AI all the time. In a way that we should kind of accept it, but accept it in the best way possible and try to at least regulate it a little bit to prevent abuses. But anyway, this is from the co-founder of Google. He says, AI works better when you threaten it with physical violence.
What? What?
No, this is what he said. It works better. He said the word he used, or the phrase he uses, I'm going to kidnap you. And that works. And it forces AI to do what you want it to do.
Who says this?
This is the co-founder of Google. He should know.
You're kidding.
It's like people's resumes who say that they work well under pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
AI works with threats
so that's
of violence. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
I'll have to try that.
You know, that kind of suggests that maybe AI has a conscience of some sort, or some kind of an emotional insecurity. I don't want to see that. All right.
Okay.
What do we got?
We've
few
got
responses here, don't we?
We've got some texts coming in.
All right, let's go to those.
608-879-8255.
We'll go over the hour a little bit here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
College dropout career trajectory steers John and Gordy to ultimately become the carnival barkers of the progressive radio circus. Proof we don't need universities. There you go.
Thank you,
Robert
Doug.
and McFarland at a White House press briefing Wednesday, Trump was asked about a new term circulating, and that is called the taco trade.
Oh, yeah.
Which stands for Trump always chickens out, the acronym.
Right.
And
he's not happy.
by the way,
about
I have that. I have that clip where the reporter, I have to say, this reporter had guts.
Yes.
To bring up the taco phrase.
Right to Trump's face. Yeah. We'll
of
have
course,
that.
he lashed out. He lashed out at that.
Yeah, of course
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it stands for Trump always chickens out. Yeah, he he heard about it.
And then, of course,
he's not happy.
Then what's circulating out of Saturday Night Live a bit that Trump did dressed as a chicken, selling Trump chicken.
Oh, boy. All right, coming up in our next hour, we'll check in with Brittany Merlot and a lot more.
transmitted by wire. Here is the latest news brought into your own living room.
You'll be hard to satisfy with anything less.
Let's give them something to talk about.
Talk is cheap.
Gib. Always gossiping.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
This is High Five Plus.
And that's the way it is.
We'll do it live.
On 92.7 FM, WMDX. Take it away, boys.
Another incredible day. A little overcast right now. Looks like it's starting to clear up.
Yeah, we'll see some sunshine today, but a little on the cool side. Right now, close to 50 degrees. We'll get a high around 70 by late in the day. And this portion of John and Gordy in the Morning brought to you by Verlo Mattress of Madison. What?
You know, we were talking about AI. It's getting pretty smart these days.
Yeah.
The summation of our last hour via AI says John and Gordy dive into the illegal Trump tariffs ruling, joking about a tariff-free show.
Yeah.
How did it know I was joking about that?
I don't know. AI, yeah, that's interesting. It knows
it's got
it was
a
joke.
Slight sense of humor.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I was joking.
You're going to go on with that or no?
No.
Okay. It's 7 minutes past the hour. You can wake up and sleep better on a Verlo mattress. They're bringing you this portion of the show, Verlo Mattress of Madison. A lot has changed since 1958. Some things remain constant, though. They're still direct-to-consumer and provide superior products at unbeatable prices. Verlo Mattress, 2 Madison locations, East Side and West Side. And you can go to Verlo.com, check out their lifetime comfort guarantee, Verlo.com.
All right.
Okay.
Well, last hour we broached this subject. Well, I want to get into it now.
Well,
it's the acronym TACO. Trump always chickens out. We have a reaction from the Golden Idol.
Really? What did he have to say? Was he happy with this new thing?
Pulitzer Prize Award to the reporter who asked the question. So why don't we play? This is cut 201. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, and then I chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set?
Yes.
Down to 100 and then down to another number?
Yeah.
And I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff.
Yeah.
And they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And we have an end date of July 9th.
God, what's wrong with
You
this
call
guy?
that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. You know, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me. He said, you got the hottest we have the hottest country in the world right now.
Said that.
Oh,
6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead.
No.
We had a dead country.
It's
We had
the
a country
envy of the
people didn't think it
world.
was going to survive, and
Envy
you
of
ask
the
a nasty
world.
question like that.
God.
But don't ever say
No.
what you said. That's a nasty question. Go ahead. To me, that's the nastiest question.
That's the
Nasty-
nastiest
nasty
question
question.
ever. Boy, oh boy. Sure leveled that one off.
He doesn't like the taco thing at all.
No. And I don't know why. He does chicken out.
Trump always chickens out.
Hottest country in the world. Maybe he is acknowledging climate change now.
Oh,
There we go.
that could be it.
There are no signed deals for the tariffs. There are none. Now, I know we had Great Britain, right? They signed on to something. But, I mean, they didn't sign on to anything. They said they were agreeing with Trump on an agreement, but that's about it.
It was in words,
There's
not writing.
No writing at all. So no one has agreed to any of this stuff. And now, of course, we have a judge who says he has no legal right to do this with tariffs.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah, the judge.
Congress.
Yeah, they ruled that last night.
Yeah, that's
yesterday.
great stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Now, we played a interesting cut from Scott Pelley from 60 Minutes, right? He talked to a Wake Forest crowd, commencement speech.
Right.
And it was inspirational, and it was a warning to everybody about the free press. But, you know, Fox News had their own interpretation. And Greg Gutfeld and Kayleigh McEnany, that's right, turned over a few little things that they thought were important about his speech. So why don't we hear cut 200 here?
CBS anchor Scott Pelley unloading his BS on 47 while giving a college commencement speech.
In this moment, this morning, our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. And insidious fear, the fear to speak. In America.
He wasn't arrested after that. He wasn't arrested, Kaylee.
Yeah, well, look, he should have been, because there is an overt lie. What do you know about journalism being under attack? What does he know about that? I mean, 60 minutes should be reduced to 0 minutes.
Yeah, it seemed like an ego trip for him, Harold. It's the thing that gets me is that these people choose to say these things on a one-way street, like at award ceremonies and commencement addresses, because they know that people can't talk back. It's not a conversation when you go up there and shout at people, like we do.
Yeah.
Like we do. Okay.
Well, okay. All right. Well, Scott Pelley has a lot to learn in his commencement speeches. Apparently, right? Here's something we promote a little bit here, and it is the fourth pillar, okay, of Project 2025.
Yeah, what's this all about?
Yeah, and I thought, we should have covered this in some way, shape, or form. I did not know about this. The Heritage Foundation had been hiding the most controversial elements of Project 2025. Remember when they came out and they said, well, we've got something else cooking, but we're not going to tell anybody about it, right?
Yeah.
It's the fourth pillar.
That's what it is, huh?
It was to expand Trump's power over virtually all executive agencies, which is what DOJ did. They destroyed it. They tore them apart.
Yeah.
Including the Justice Department, to advance his own interests, even if they undermine those of the country.
Yeah.
It's got to be the interest of Trump. All right.
Absolutely.
So why don't we listen to this? This is a representative talking to Brendan Carr, who is the FCC chair, and she was grilling him about the fourth pillar. Now that you know a little bit about it, let's check it out.
Yes or no? As a main author of Project 2025, are you aware of this fourth pillar playbook?
Well, to be
yes or no?
To be clear, I'm here in my official capacity.
Yes or no?
So I don't want to have any confusion.
I'm reclaiming
on that.
my time. You are under oath, and I don't want you to filibuster. Yes or no? Are you aware of this fourth pillar playbook?
Okay, just so I can be clear, that writing that I did was in my personal capacity after getting the...
Reclaiming my time, I didn't ask you that. Are you aware of the fourth pillar playbook, and can you detail, as you are under oath, what exactly it calls for?
Again, I've not seen this fourth pillar playbook.
Moving on. I find it hard to believe that you don't know the details of this 100... Well, please, you are under oath, and do not waste my or the public's time.
There you go. So he wrote it, but he's unfamiliar with it. All right.
Yes. I never heard someone dodge so many questions in my life.
You're good at it. Yeah.
You're about to once you take over as our producer. Again, this is a 180-day transition playbook. The fourth pillar was to expand Trump's power over all the executive agencies. Now, we talked about this, too, the Chevron doctrine, which was also repealed by the Supreme Court, which allowed these agencies to oversee all of the legal ramifications of their agencies. The Congress gave them this power. They gave them regulations to enforce, and these departments could enforce those regulations and maybe expand on them a little bit to cover things that Congress didn't think about or didn't anticipate.
Right.
But the Chevron doctrine passed or rejected by the Supreme Court now after so many years, a half a century. Now the departments didn't have any power at all. And so they had to leave all the power of these departments up to the courts to decide what is important, what should be regulated, and what shouldn't be. Now they went one step further with the fourth pillar by just giving all the power to the president.
Yeah, just hand it over.
Yeah. And destroying the departments and firing people and closing off buildings. All right. So that's That's essentially it. And that's Brendan Carr, the chair of the FCC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get rid of this guy. Anyway, he certainly he wrote it, but he's unfamiliar with it at this point.
Let's go to the phones.
All
Dick
right.
is on the line this morning with a question or a comment. Good morning, Dick. Go ahead.
Guys, did you see the new acronym? I guess that's what it's called for Trump, for the big heavy hitters on Wall Street, what they call him?
Yeah, the taco. Yeah, we just
taco. Yeah, did you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just played it.
No, we played it.
Great.
Yeah,
it really is. And that reporter, boy, she had guts.
Yeah. To ask him about
it. And then also the wonderful little session he had with the press yesterday, when he was pressed on, what he'd do with Putin as far as sanctions.
Yes.
And they kept going. And then he, of course, went to his old playbook. This is Biden's war and Putin's war and Zelensky's. Biden's? Really? And then I liked when he went all Ward Cleaver on him. He goes, I'm very, very disappointed in him. I mean, wow, Ward.
Yeah.
You really put the beat down on him.
I know. I mean, he was proven so wrong. He anticipated. He said that he knows Putin, and and he was surprised that Putin would do what he did. He was just surprised by that, which is an admission that he has no idea what he's doing at all. All right.
Well, he pays no attention to the last 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've said many times. I mean, Putin is what he is, and he always has been.
Right. Exactly.
But he also said he's going to get Putin back into the peace talks in a couple of weeks. He always said he's going to come back in a couple of weeks. Okay.
He was going to get his Cadillac health care, too, the last term. Now he's going to take 13 million people off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right.
Dick, thank you.
Dick, thank you.
Always good to hear from you. 608-879-8255. That's 879-TALK. Of course, you can get hold of us the easy way on the Civic Media app. Free to download, free to use. You can text us or call us right from the app on the WMDX portion of that app. Just a couple of minutes here. We want to mention that this portion of the show is brought to you by Madison Hearing Aid Center. Madison Hearing Aid Center. They are at 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. And they offer fast and flexible appointments, helping people change their lives through not only getting hearing aids, but getting quality of life through better hearing. Let Jim and Sarah help you out. You can call them or make an appointment online. MadisonHearingAidCenter.com is the place to go. MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. Just a minute or so before we check in with Brittany Merlot in a couple of minutes. Find out what's happening weather-wise. And, of course, Jim Santelle will join us in about 10 minutes.
We've got some legal stuff coming up. Definitely big legal things coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Miller ain't the smartest tool in the toolbox, shed, whatever.
Wherever you keep your tools.
I'm never good at these things.
Yeah?
I'm bad at old sayings. Anyway, here's Miller's statement. CBO claims extending the current tax rates, not raising them, will cost the government $4 trillion in revenue. Yeah. Since when have libertarians argued that not raising taxes costs the government money? Well, I know the original Trump tax cuts will continue to cost us money and add to the deficit.
Yeah, easy.
I don't know. That was pretty simple.
Right. Pretty straightforward. 7:19 coming back, and we'll check in with Brittany Merlot all about the weather next.
Just a few moments here.
Stay with us.
Hey.
There you go. Morning, Brittany.
Notion that he could
Good morning.
oversee all agencies, even those that are created to be completely
They don't have their
independent.
headphones on.
Just more power grab that reverses.
What are you reading? Sorry.
Jim Santelle's thing.
Oh, okay.
Are you trying to tell us we're on the air? Or?
Yes, we are, John.
Are we on the air?
No. On the air, day and night.
On the air.
When I listened to WXCO in high school, when it was still an oldies station, they had that as a tagline. Yeah.
Dang.
Brittany.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Not much.
Coming up here in a minute or two.
Well, we got 15 seconds now. We got a tiny bit of a longer song coming in.
Out here about John Peterson on 92 FM, babe. He works with a guy named Gordy on. They spin them the way you want to hear them. Could it be that 92 FM was made for you and me? Now every morning they get you rolling, playing songs, help you make it through your day. Oh, this station is right on, babe. Now that 92 FM keeps rocking this way. With Johnny Peterson, you can't lose. Look out for Gordy Young, you can't go wrong. Keep that dial right on 92, babe. With the greatest sounds that keep rocking this town.
Go for it, hurry up.
Look out for 92 FM, baby.
Oh, Russ, he's out in Las Vegas right now doing his own thing, doing that stuff.
We got to get a hold of him again. Yeah.
He's got all these cassettes with all the music on it, and he sings to it. I'm sure it's not cassettes anymore, but
he's upgraded to CDs now.
Probably. WMDX here, 92.7, John and Gordy in the morning.
7:24. It's pretty cloudy here this morning. Let's find out what's going on with the rest of our weather for the rest of today and next few days. Brittany Merlot is with us, our chief meteorologist. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning, guys. I must say, when you get a song like that made for you, that's when you've made it. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's what we're thinking. But then we open up the mic and, well, we're starting over again.
That is good stuff. Oh, man.
Fun.
I wish the weather was going to be good stuff, though. It's kind of a little crummy today.
Fill us in.
Yeah. So overcast, still stuck with a lot of those clouds right now. They should start to break up a little bit more as we move into midday. But then as we go into the afternoon, we have a chance for some scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm popping up probably after 2. Now, this would be brief. It'd be a small little one. And high temperatures today should be flirting with about 70. So a little bit more mild compared to yesterday. And then we start the warmth, right? That climb by tomorrow will be in the upper 70s. It'll be super sunny, kind of breezy, though, tomorrow.
How's the dew point looking?
You're hanging in there for now. Tomorrow you're okay. Right. You've got about 1 or 2 days left until that dew point starts to get annoying for you, John.
Really? Over the weekend, it's going to get humid? Is it?
Yeah, it's going to start to creep in. You'll start to feel a little bit of mugginess by Friday. Then we're really going to feel that humidity on Sunday and Monday. And then it's going to start to crank up as we go into middle of next week. And so does the temperatures. We're going to be hovering in the mid-80s to potentially some 90s are going to be sprinkled into the area.
No.
So
really?
Man. All right.
Yep. Full force summer heat, humidity, Florida weather making its way to Wisconsin. And I don't know. I'm kind of sad about it. I like the crisp warmth that we've been actually feeling like last weekend. So.
Yeah, I don't like it when it gets humid either.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the heat and
well,
humidity,
okay.
but you know,
I have
it's
company.
summertime.
I have
so what
company.
do you expect?
Yeah.
Right.
True. Find the water, right? Stay cool. Absolutely.
Stay hydrated. Okay.
Beach weather.
Okay. Very good, Brittany.
Do you guys head to the lake out there? What do you do? Do you boat? Do you fish? Do you kayak?
Well, Sam boats a lot.
I just brought it back to Madison actually over the weekend.
He's got a styrofoam dinghy or whatever you call it.
It's a sailboat made of styrofoam. Yeah. I can pick it up and carry it to the lake.
That's right.
Wow, that is cool. I got to see that.
And after that, they decided that styrofoam was better for cups.
Tomorrow's Sam's last day, Brittany.
It is.
Tomorrow.
Yes. He's moving on.
Crazy.
That's
right. It is crazy. My gosh, I'm going to miss you so much, but I'm so excited for your new adventure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Dom will be stepping in here after that.
Mm-hmm.
Our new producer. Yeah.
That'll be
All
good
right,
stuff.
Brittany.
Sam, I hope you come back and visit, though, okay?
Yeah, I'll have to say hi if I'm in Wausau sometime.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yay.
All right, Brittany.
Brittany,
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll
come up with a
thank
boating. We'll come up with a boating expedition.
Yeah.
Can we
sometime.
please?
Boating
Yes.
forecast.
Okay. We'll have you along, and boy, that ought to be a real trip.
Let Sam lead it with styrofoam.
Yeah, exactly.
All good.
All right.
Thanks, Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
That's Brittany Merlot, our chief meteorologist. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's. Caroline Levitt has a nickname. Did you know she has a nickname?
I did not know.
Yeah. Well, I'd say I'd say the whole word, but I've been barred from doing that. I definitely think that the S word should be said on the radio, but no one agrees with me, so I'm going to have to just say BS Barbie. That's what they're calling Caroline Levitt, BS Barbie.
Who's calling her that? The other press people?
Everyone is. Where have you been, man?
Yeah, well, okay.
They took a look at
Barbie.
the first 30 days, and she told 317 lies in those 30 days. So not bad, not bad.
I'm sure she got a big gold star from Donald Trump for that.
Well,
Big thumbs up.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I think, still probably beats her on that. Okay, Caroline Levitt, bigot. I added that. They're telling us who they are, folks, when they talk. This will make it perfectly clear the kind of monsters slithering around the halls of the White House now. Believe it or not, she's making perfect sense to the mega party. Let's listen to cut 190. Can we listen to cut 195?
Do we have time? Here we go.
No, I'm afraid not.
We
John.
don't have time. Can't listen to part of it? Okay. All right. Well, we'll save it.
All right.
We'll get to it.
Well, we'll put that on
You got to
hold.
build the anticipation.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. We'll do that.
We will do that.
Caroline
Levitt.
Levitt.
Telling everybody how big a bigot she really is.
Okay. That's coming up. Also, Attorney Jim Santelle right around the corner on John and Gordy in the Morning.
All right, Jim.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Good.
Hanging in there.
We got now. We need your emails as opposed to the chat, but we do have your chat up here, and you're talking about the fourth pillar, which is something we covered. Did you hear it?
I was just listening in. That's the reason why I dropped the note there. That if you want to go back, there's even more history. It's plainly they're shooting on all. I'm not mixing metaphors. All cylinders here. Back in February, he issued an executive order saying that if any agency articulates a view of the law that's other than mine, it is wrong.
That's right. I remember that.
Remember this, right?
Yeah,
that's a part of this. All this is, it's all.
Boy, that's why we have you here, Jim.
Okay, why is it called the fourth? You can save your answer for the air, but why is it called the fourth pillar? What are the other three pillars? What do we? Why we
I think what they're saying, it's the three pillars. It's the Congress, it's the courts, and it's the executive. And then
that's what I said.
Independent agencies.
I
is
didn't
what
deny
it's,
it.
Right. And they're I think that's what I'll check it again, but I'm pretty certain that's.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Right. And then there's also the fourth estate, which is the media, right? So you've got a lot of fourths out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too many fourths. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, the people who did Project 2025 didn't care about any of the other fourths.
Right.
They had their own agenda. So
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Of course, the Chevron doctrine repeal still sits under my craw a little bit. I mean, I didn't know that Trump would just take everything away, but the Supreme Court beat him to it.
Yeah, and it's all related, as you just indicated in your prior segments. It's just this notion that we don't trust people who know what. That's at the core of this. We don't trust people who know what they're doing. The experts, we shouldn't be hearing from them. So again, shut down Chevron, make all laws coming out of the White House. The people, again, that's the theme. We do not trust the Faucis of the world, basically. And let's substitute our own views for those. So, and of course, RFK Jr. is also just shutting down scientists, right? So we don't trust those folks. Can't hear from them anymore. It's all the same. It's all the
we don't want to cure bird flu.
Yeah,
right.
We don't need a vaccine.
Let's cut funding on that, even in the middle of their research, which was very successful. I was watching on the monitor here that they had a poll, and it is really unsettling. The Republicans, the MAGAs, have convinced the American public that a college education is not important. I think that I think it went from, and I could be wrong about the high number here, where people had confidence in a college education. It was like 65%, 10 years ago or something like that. It is now at 35%. Where people think college education is important.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Trump is saying Putin has gone absolutely crazy. That's Trump's latest.
It's Putin.
This is a new quote.
It's Putin.
Putin's gone absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh.
Just putting that to the side here. I'm just seeing random stuff.
But using one of his common terms, nobody knew. I'm the first one who knew, right? we just found this out. Did you know?
Just figured it out. Yeah.
Right. But nobody knew. How often does he say that? Right?
Yeah.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
No, we all knew, Mr. President. You're the only one who didn't out of 342 million people, right? You're the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to knowledge, Mr. President. Right?
Now, I had my own material
on in
here
30.
too.
Okay.
So I had something like the pardon.
Well, let's start with the fourth pillar.
Sure.
And but we're going to go with the fourth. Yeah, we'll go with your suggested.
Let's get into that.
All right. WMDX 92.7. This is John Peterson, Gordy Young, in the morning with you.
Along with our new producer, Boris McNamara.
I'm so tired.
Wait, what is his name again? Oh, Dominic Lee. We're still getting used to your name. I knew I was close.
Yeah.
I was close. Yeah. And Sam Donaldson.
I can see how you got that confused.
Wait, no.
My dad's friend from high school also had a kid named Sam, and whenever we hung out together, he would call me Sammy Jean, because that's my middle name is Eugene. So instead of calling, he'd differentiate his kid and me, calling me Sammy Jean. You could call me that.
Yeah, I heard you on Todd yesterday. You were coming up with nicknames for Sam, right? Did they mention the luggage, like Samsonite?
Samsonite.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, Sam's last day is tomorrow.
Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Okay. Tomorrow's Sam's last day. We're going to have a special day going on.
By the way,
we're going to have a cookout in the studio, right?
We're going to do something.
You guys want to ignore this, but Todd yesterday,
right? What did he
Sam
say?
was doing his show with him, and Todd said that he wants Sam to be a partner on his show.
Huh.
So he's stealing Sam away from us.
I'm moving up in the world, John.
Wait a minute. Thought you were moving away completely.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I'll be your partner.
Oh, sure.
Okay. That Todd.
Okay. It is 7:36 and cloudy here. Temperatures today topping out near 70. This portion of the show brought to you by Verlo Mattress. You can wake up and sleep better on a Verlo mattress. Plenty has changed since 1958, but some things have remained constant. Through Verlo's long history, they're still direct to consumer, providing superior products at unbeatable prices. Verlo Mattress, 2 Madison locations, east and west. Just go to verlo.com for more information.
Now, I just wanted to mention B.S. Barbie, Caroline Leavitt, said something that revealed just how bigoted this White House really is. Let's listen to cut 195 here. This is Caroline Leavitt, B.S. Barbie is her nickname.
And the president is more interested in giving that taxpayer money to trade schools, in programs, in state schools, where they are promoting American values, but most importantly, educating the next generation based on skills that we need in our economy and our society. Apprenticeships, electricians, plumbers. We need more of those in our country and less LGBTQ graduate majors from Harvard University. And that's what this administration's position is. And we also are not going to tolerate the illegal, criminal, anti-Semitic behavior that we saw take place at Harvard and many other college campuses across the country.
There you go. So now we know where they stand.
Guess so.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, they're just making it pretty damn obvious. And there was a survey, by the way, I saw on CNN, where people had a lot of confidence, like 65% confidence in going to college and getting a degree. But now it's down to 35%. So this mega attack in colleges, it's working.
It's working, yeah.
All right, let's get to our guest today. And, of course, we always love to talk to Jim Santelle about legal issues. He is the attorney here on Civic Media, right?
With Amicus.
Yeah. And
every Saturday?
You can always listen on Saturday, 9 to 11 o'clock. And, Jim, we got a lot of topics to talk about. But we, last hour, talked about, or this hour, the fourth pillar. At the beginning of the hour, we talked about the fourth pillar. And I mentioned that this was being something that they're starting to talk to Brendan Carr about. He's the FCC chair, because he's the guy who wrote most of this.
Yeah.
And he can't remember exactly what he wrote, but he did write it as a person, individual, not part of government. And so that's the excuse.
So what can you add to
what can you tell
Gordy, us about the fourth pillar?
Yeah, Gordy wanted to know more about the fourth pillar and what it's all about.
Yeah.
Sure. And it may well be, once again, that our administration is invoking the word fourth in at least 2 different areas. I suspect by virtue of the examination of the FCC chair, they were probably talking about what's sometimes called the fourth estate, which is media, right? That's press. Those are the people who keep us under the First Amendment, the first thing that James Madison wrote, obviously after our Constitution was put in place many years ago. And is there an attack by this administration on that fourth estate, that fourth pillar, again, in Project 2025? But since the president has been in office, absolutely. We think about the lawsuits, right, that are being filed, the threats being made against legitimate and frankly, even smaller media outlets across the board, telling them basically 60 Minutes is the big one that's, of course, on the agenda today, right? And CBS News, they want to also be acquired through Paramount and need the authorization of the administration. And so attacking 60 Minutes and saying, don't do what you're doing. You've got departures there of the news chiefs because they're not going to put up with it. And the concern there, once again, is when you lose a free press, not just 60 Minutes, but across the board, print media, frankly, civic media, other entities like this that talk the truth and talk about what's really going on there. That is the bastion. That's the one of the standards against which this other attempt to try to disinform and try to uneducate American population, that's what the media does. That's one aspect of the fourth pillar. The other one, much more simply, is this attack on agencies. It's also kind of the fourth pillar of our government after the legislature, the courts, and the executive branch. And there we've seen, you talked about this as well in the past. You're attacking any agency that's out there. Why? Because those are the people who know what they're doing, right? Those are the scientists. Those are the educated folks who understand how the world works and keep us safe and secure. We don't trust those folks anymore. And that's also a fourth pillar type attack. Administration using fourth in a number of different ways, all of them wildly inappropriate and hugely dangerous.
Boy,
it's scary.
It's really scary. The attempt here, of course, is to just do away with them and put everything under the executive branch.
Right. Exactly. And that's also called in Project 2025. Again, you have talked about this as well. If you need the sort of crazy legal term for it, it's called the unitary executive theory, the notion that the president is responsible for every single executive aspect out there. And you might think, well, gee, that sounds right. It doesn't, because we've got all these administrative agencies. For example, like the Federal Reserve, right? And they create, again, economic policy, including interest rates, designed by the Congress to be what? Independent. You don't want political decision-making coming out of that entity. Jerome Powell basically threatened recently with his own job. And again, that notion that all of that, the unitary executive, all that should be responsible to just one person, the executive, Donald Trump. It is, again, very dangerous. And it's contrary to what the legislature has put in place, by the way. If you want to do this, you can once again do these things. You have to get legislation in place. That's the big sin, among others, of this administration, right? You can't simply legislate by executive fiat. You got to go through legislative mechanisms and make it the law, right? And that's, again, so many instances of that. You can't simply issue statements and say, I've changed the world. That's what our Congress is for. You want to get rid of the education department, you can do that, but you can only do it through legislation, Mr. President. That's the frustration of all this procedurally.
Talking to Attorney Jim Santelle here.
Yeah, the unitary executive was just a crazy idea at the time. Now it's for real. They've actually emphasized it. They didn't let this thing go, and now it is generally accepted, at least under the Trump administration. You did mention also that the Supreme Court just made a decision that Jerome Powell can stay in his job. He can't be fired. But other departments, even though they're non-political, even though they're independent, they can be replaced. I don't understand the differentiation here. Did they ever make a difference, a reason why there's a differentiation?
Spot on when it comes to the analysis here, because what they said was, well, the Federal Reserve, they're a uniquely structured agency that kind of is special. Well, that's also all these other agencies as well. The Merit Systems Protection Board, those are the people who decide on personnel issues. The National Labor Relations Board, we all know what that does. Those are the labor folks, right? And again, created by the Congress to be independent. There's no real distinction. And again, this past week, in one of those many issues that kind of flew under the radar, Supreme Court does say, well, Jerome Powell, you're okay. Apparently, that's a bridge even too far for John Roberts. We don't want Donald Trump messing around with economic theory. You're okay. But these other folks, yes, indeed, you can remove them while the underlying litigation about whether removal is appropriate still goes on in the courts. Stunning, once again, that the Supreme Court embracing at least part of this on Capitol Hill, too. Not a small decision, and doesn't bode well for what the Supreme Court may do in other unitary executive theory cases coming up.
Well, that's true, and we're just going to wait and see now what happens with a judge's decision blocking all of the tariffs, most of the tariffs that Trump has put in place.
Yeah,
do you have any information on that? That just came down, I know. But
yesterday.
Exactly.
What's your opinion on that, Jim?
Sure. And so this is another federal court. It's a federal court of international trade, international issues, and it is a federal court. You can appeal this, of course, to the next level. But again, a 3-judge panel there looks at all of this and says you do not have the authority to do this. And it says to a couple of countries, Mexico and Canada, and then more generally, they kind of issue 2 different orders here. completely much related, but separate in terms of their sort of status. It is, again, these are people who know what they're talking about. They're judges who do international trade issues. That's all they do. And the fact that they would yesterday, the 3-judge panel returns this order. Again, another one in this great line, federal judges saying, Mr. President, you might like to do this, but you can't. You don't have the authority to do this. And if it was taken again, be the serious thing that it should be viewed as, it should stop him from doing all of this so-called negotiation. I know in the past hour, once again, you just articulate this notion, there's nothing in place. He's got nothing negotiated. Even with Great Britain, as you just said, we've just got these words out there about a plan. Yeah. But all of that, even the...
Okay. Is Jim
He's become the frozen caveman lawyer.
Get that out. Let's play that. We'll see if we can get Jim back here in a moment. Let's please stand by. Okay. What do we do here, Sam?
I'm sure that he can probably hear us, but at the same time, the Supreme Court is probably regretting putting the official axe place for where he is protected from anything he does in office, right?
Right. Yeah.
No one can challenge what he does. What is that immunity?
Well,
it looks like he's back.
Jim, do we have you back?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for probably it was the administration or the press secretary saying, no, we've got to get that guy quieted down.
Get that guy up. Yeah.
It's making a good
Sorry
point.
about that. Right?
Yeah.
But that is right. You've got judges who are making these balanced decisions and telling him no, and he is simply saying, I don't care.
Yeah, so they're going to appeal this thing from this federal judge, and eventually it goes up to the Supreme Court. They make a ruling, and he ignores that too.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's been the system so far. Okay, got to take a brief time out here. We'll come back with Attorney Jim Santelle in just a moment. Stay with us.
Sorry about the hiccup here. I have no idea, but there we are.
I got to do a Madison hearing aid.
All right.
Right off the top.
What do you want to get to next, Jim?
So, the other big one, it's the education. Maybe it's the theme, right? Education, the Harvard attack, and this decision now we're going to aggressively go after Chinese students, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's also just yesterday, right? I think that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio is saying a Chinese Communist Party and in critical fields. What does that mean? So you're studying critical fields, right? It's enhanced scrutiny.
Rubio has turned into a piece of work, hasn't he?
Boy,
oh my gosh.
Wow.
He is just totally Trump now.
And maybe it's because he's got so many jobs, right? Every time somebody, my favorite one is he's our national archivist over there at the archives. So he's taking care of all of our documents. So when President Trump issues an executive order, Marco walks down the street and delivers them to the archives and puts them in a special envelope. What? I did lost track of the other things that he does. But
he's in charge of USAID.
AID,
right? USAID, and that's right. The Library of Congress. That's the other one. So when he stops at the archives, then he can walk a few more blocks and check out books. Right, or not. Or not, because we know all those books there, right?
Well, they think you can check out books there.
Right,
it doesn't work like that.
I guess they've never been there to find out.
Right.
Yeah,
but he's a busy guy. I assume he's not sleeping and eating, and maybe our Homeland Security Secretary can take him out to dinner since she's got all that cash on Saturday nights. And say, Marco, come on.
Yeah.
Still want an answer to that, by the way. What she was doing?
What was she doing with all that cash on a Saturday night at the
downtown DC?
At a swanky
restaurant. Possibly.
I think she was running into some gigolo. An escort. That's what she. I think that's what it was.
Really?
Maybe she was paying somebody to teach her what habeas corpus means. I don't know. It was worth $3,000.
Yeah.
She knew it was a big deal, so he had to bring a lot of money along. So, right?
All right. So again, what are we talking about next?
Maybe Chinese visas being for students. Yeah, that'd be.
And what was the other one? Chinese.
And generally Harvard, the continuing battle there, right? That he's now stripped all monies out of Harvard. And there again, judges stopping him, but.
Okay. See, Trump says, I'll know in 2 weeks whether Putin wants peace.
Everything is 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now. Check back with me in 2 weeks. Okay.
WMDX, John and Gordy in the morning.
7:52. We've got clouds, a little bit of sunshine trying to peek through. High near 70 this afternoon, right now 52. This portion of John and Gordy in the morning brought to you by Madison Hearing Aid Center, 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. They are all about helping people and changing their lives through not just getting you the right hearing aids, but improving the quality of life through better hearing. Jim and Sarah can help you out at Madison Hearing Aid Center. Go to their website, madisonhearingaidcenter.com. You can get a free hearing test there and make an appointment. They have fast and flexible appointments. And while others have long wait times, they can get you right in pretty quickly. They're family-oriented, community-focused. That's Madison Hearing Aid Center, 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. Be sure to check out their website, madisonhearingaidcenter.com.
Our guest this morning, we should have him in here all the time, Jim Santelle. Amicus, a law review. You can hear it on Saturdays from 9 to 11 o'clock. What else do you got for us there, Jim?
You know, it's sort of an education morning, isn't it? We're talking all about the importance of education. And along the way, apparently our Secretary of State, who has, three of us have talked at great length in the past, has a lot of assignments these days inside the executive branch. Just last night, just Wednesday, he announced that the Department of State, one of his assignments, which we thought was the principal assignment, is going to, as he said, aggressively revoke. I don't know what that means exactly, but aggressively revoke visas of Chinese students who are here. He invokes the notion that they have ties to the Chinese Communist Party here in the United States of America.
Wow.
And they're studying these critical fields, and he's going to basically pursue those who are, again, Chinese of origin, properly here, by the way, studying in America. And again, the notion is, we don't know exactly what the focus of this is going to be, but the notion, once again, is that they're going after the scientists. The idea that somehow we have Chinese nationalists, maybe members of the Communist Party, invoking, again, 1950s scare tactics in America. All these communists here from China being educated, and they're learning all of our secrets, taking them back to China, and therefore we're going to revoke. That's really what this is all about. It is, once again, the latest attempt to attack education, which we should support worldwide, right? Mm-hmm. We benefit from that as well. And this notion, once again, that the other, whether you're Chinese, whether you're immigrants, those people are dangerous to America. It's just the latest iteration of that.
It really is amazing what is happening here. And I predict that we're going to have just an entire decade where things just go absolutely wrong, and we no longer have the businesses that we need in this country. We don't have the scientific research anymore in this country. Everything is being moved and outsourced to other countries because we're just not accepting them. And we have this paranoid feeling that, the students that are coming in from other countries are here to spy on us, which is just amazing. It's just truly unbelievable.
Right. We saw that too in the secretaries. Recall, we've talked about this on this wonderful program. Got the Columbia student, the Georgetown student, the Tough student, all of them arrested. Why? Because they're speaking out about positions. Yes, it has to do with Palestine. And again, Marco Rubio says what? He says that very speech on our campuses is undermining our national security and our safety.
Pretty fragile.
And right, we are very fragile, apparently, and therefore we got to get rid of them. And although they've been released now by federal judges, we arrested them, we detained them for a while. Thank God federal judges stepped in and said, no, they're not risk of flight, they're not dangerous. But they're still facing deportation proceedings on this absolutely anti-American theory that somehow international students who are here speaking their minds, again, it doesn't even matter what they're underlying. It is important, but it doesn't matter. It's just expressing their First Amendment rights and capacities, and they pose a threat to all of the good people in America. We need to get rid of them. That too is Marco Rubio. That too is your Department of State in this nation. No small thing.
Well, it's kind of crazy to think that these international students don't have constitutional rights while they're in this country.
Right.
It's a ridiculous thought.
It is a ridiculous thought. You've affirmed this routinely, and have Supreme Court justices like, Antonin Scalia, and even John Roberts and others out there. The fundamental civics notion we repeat all the time because it's still just can't put this thing to bed. When you are here in the United States geographically, you have a right to benefit from not everything. You're not able to vote. You can't run for office, but you've got rights of protection, things like due process. Yes, indeed, Kristi Noem, habeas corpus. That also applies to people who are here on our soil. Equal protection, all those kinds of things. And yet there's this notion, well, they're not citizens anyway, so we can deprive them of those rights. And by the way, we can also pack them up and arrest them and send them to planes all around the nation, around the country, around the world, rather. And we can do that because they have no rights. Simply wrong. And again, America needs to at least embrace that concept, at least embrace that they do have rights.
That's right. And I think Trump is doing what DeSantis did in Florida with the liberal arts college, completely changing it over and scaring people away from that college. Now he's doing the same thing to Harvard.
Right. Absolutely. And you do have a judge, once again, who's stopping much of that, but it's an attempt to attack not only the DEI issues there, but also the basic curriculum, anti-education, anti-learning. That's our president these days.
What I don't get, though, is why hasn't somebody challenged the whole idea of making DEI illegal? I just don't get that. I mean, they're basing everything. They're putting racism back into this country with the excuse of DEI, which isn't illegal. It's just a concept.
It's just it's an education theory, right? Right. And that's the problem. It shouldn't be. They're having some success in federal courts, but again, that's the issue. Continuing to push back on that ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Jim Santelle, we have to leave it there. You can check out Jim on Amicus, a law review every Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Civic Media Radio Network. Thanks, Jim.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen.
All right.
Tomorrow we'll check in with Pam Yankee, also a MaxInc preview with Rocker, and it's Free Ticket Friday and more Brewers tickets to give away for tomorrow. Stephanie Miller is coming up next.
Check it out.
You have a good day, John.
Well, thank you. It looks like it's going to be sunny and nice.
Have a great day.
And
Dexter?
Don?
You too.
Hey, Sam and Don.